Historically, many people, especially young people, has had trouble staying in touch, staying connected with their parents. Whether it's a phone call, a text, or just a simple note. As much as we love them, sometimes it feels like a challenge to keep in touch. Sometimes children are notoriously bad about calling home. Whether they're busy, distracted, or just forget. You know the joke. You never write, you don't call me. The question is, why did Joseph, after being elevated to such a position of power in Egypt, never reach out to his father Jacob to tell him that he was alive? He could have sent a message. He had been sold into slavery by his brothers. He was presumed dead by his father and had endured years of hardship in a foreign land. It seemed only natural that he would want to let his father know that he had survived, that he was doing well. Yet, for years, he said nothing. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs offers a compelling theory. He said that Joseph might have feared that his father Jacob was angry at him. You see, the tipping point in the relationship seemed to have been when Joseph shared his dream about his own greatness, with the sun, the moon, and the stars, which represented his father, the mother, the brothers, all bowing down to him. Jacob's reaction was sharp. He scolded his son publicly, and though it says that he kept the matter to himself, Jacob clearly struggled with his son's dreams and the implications they held. Joseph, for his part, may have internalized his father's anger, perhaps believing that Jacob would never want to hear from him again. Beyond this moment of tension, there were other instances in Jacob's life where communication, particularly around emotional or family matters, had broken down completely almost. We see this first when Jacob's relationship with some of his sons falters. With Reuben, his firstborn, after the scandal surrounding his concubine, and violent revenge situation that Simon and Levi got into after the rape of their sister Dinah. These episodes show that Jacob, a man who had lived through his own struggles and family disputes, was quick to sever relationships when he felt betrayed or hurt. Joseph may have feared that the act of revealing himself might only deepen the emotional distance between them. It seems as though Joseph's sense of alienation from his family led him to adopt a posture of silence, a strategy of avoidance, rather than confrontation. His decision to withhold contact from Jacob, even when he had the power to do so, might have been rooted in the fear of rejection. But then comes the moment of revelation. As we saw, when Joseph finally hears that his father is alive, the facade he had carefully constructed as an Egyptian prince begins to crack. This knowledge shakes him to his core, and it is the catalyst for him to finally reveal his true identity to his brothers. What had been a long period of silence and avoidance is broken by the truth. Joseph's story underscores a vital lesson about the importance of communication in relationships. Without open and honest communication, misunderstandings fester, assumptions are made, and emotional distances grow wider. The rift between Joseph and Jacob, which might have been avoided with better communication, is a tragic reminder of how silence can be the breeding ground for fear, resentment, and missed opportunities for reconciliation. It is not enough to assume that your partner, your parent, or your children know how you feel. You must tell them constantly. Open, direct communication is the key to ensuring that love and respect, understanding, flow freely between family members. For example, in the context of a marriage, one of the most common sources of tension arises when partners assume the other person knows what they want or what they need. A spouse might feel unappreciated because they think their partner should automatically understand their desires or concerns, yet they never verbalize these needs. Similarly, when one partner does not express dissatisfaction with something, the other may or may not be even aware that the issue exists. Over time, these unspoken frustrations can build up, creating walls of resentment between them. Without clear communication, it becomes difficult to resolve conflicts or deepen mutual understanding. Psychologists today tell us about some scenarios of where improper communication can lead to problems. For example, the case of the silent partner. One person feels neglected or overlooked, but doesn't share their feelings, assuming the other person should simply know what is wrong. The other partner, unaware of the distress, might feel confused or frustrated when the situation escalates. There's also the case of the overreaction. In situations when one partner says something unintentionally hurtful, the other might react defensively without asking for clarification, jumping to conclusions or assuming malicious intent without seeking to understand the other person's true feelings often leads to unnecessary arguments and hurt feelings. And there's the case, for example, of the falling apart syndrome. Communication breakdowns can also happen gradually, over time, as small issues are left unspoken, and the partners simply stop sharing their thoughts, their dreams, and their fears. What begins as a small gap in understanding can actually cause partners to drift apart as they lose the emotional connection that was once there. The concept of shalom bayit, peace in the home, is central to our Jewish tradition. It is not just about avoiding conflict, but actively creating an environment where love, respect, and understanding can flourish. This requires ongoing communication, not just during times of crisis, but as a regular practice. Like Joseph and Jacob's relationship, where silence led to years of separation, we must learn from their story and understand that communication is not just a tool for solving problems, but a proactive way of maintaining connection and harmony. A household where family members are willing to listen to each other, to share openly and express their feelings without fear of judgment, is a home where shalom, where peace can thrive. Do not assume others know your feelings. Communicate them clearly, not only with our family members, but with those we care about. Prioritize communication so that our relationships are not only strong, but also filled with peace, understanding, and love.